Welcome to the next step of InnoverUK CE Wizard. After this step, you'll meet all the requirements that the standard sets for your personnel. In short, the standard requires that you name the person who is responsible for the FPC system, define all responsibilities, authority, and relationship between your employees, make sure that your employees have the appropriate qualifications to perform their work, and have a process for training your employees. To meet these requirements, you're going to need 3 documents. First, FPC Manual Sections 1 and 3.1. Second, R, Personnel Qualifications and Organization. And third, D, the training document. As we've already downloaded the FPC manual in the previous step, you'll only need to download the other 2 remaining files on the right sidebar. After you've downloaded the files, move the R, Personnel Qualifications and Organization into the R, Resources folder. In this folder, we'll store everything that has anything to do with human resources, but also files that deal with your manufacturing machinery and equipment. As for the training document, place it into the folder D, Quality Documents. Here we will store all the quality documents that need to be filled so you can prove to your stakeholders that you are actually doing what you claim you are. In this case, the training document can be used to prove that you have trained your new employees for their work and that they have familiarized themselves with the FPC system. But now open your FPC manual and navigate to Section 1. Here we name the person who will be responsible for your FPC system. If you have several locations, name someone to be responsible for each location. And naturally, if you want to, this can be the same employee. In most cases, this employee is also responsible for the CE markings. But if you think that this is too much for one employee to handle, you can name another employee to be CE responsible. After this, navigate to Section 3.1, where we have included a section that describes how you're planning to control your company's human resources. You'll probably notice that this section, like a majority of your FPC manual, doesn't require any major modifications at all. It's specific enough to meet the standards requirement, but at the same time generic enough so that we're able to guess how your company operates. Now we need to fill out the organization chart that we use to define the relationship between your employees. There isn't really any proper way to do this, but a good way is to place the name of the employee in the box who is in charge of the specific function. If you want to, you can always add more boxes both horizontally and vertically. These new boxes can include totally new tasks like billing or go into more detail like cutting, assembly, and final inspection under manufacturing. After you're done, the chart should look something like this. After you've filled out the organization chart, make sure that the responsibilities in the table below are correct. Here the key is to make sure that you define the employees who are responsible to intervene if there are non-conformities. It's recommended that you authorize, and at the same time require every single employee to intervene if there are any major non-conformities. In a way, we have included this table just to support what we will do in the file Personnel Qualifications and Organization. As one of the standard's mandatory requirements is to keep track of your employees' qualifications and experience, we have added a mention of this in the FPC manual just below the table. Since the standard mandates that you must teach the new employees that you hire how the FPC system works, as well as making sure that all your employees are qualified, we've included sections for the identification of training needs and training of new employees. Since these are quite self-explanatory, we aren't going to go over them in detail. Just take your time and get familiar with the sections and the documents related in this step. After you're done, you can save and close the FPC manual as we're done with it. Next, navigate to the file that we previously downloaded called R, Personnel Qualifications and Organization. This document consists of 2 different tables that are, first, the table for employees' responsibilities and authority, and second, the table for employees' qualifications and experience. The first table, Responsibilities and Authority, is used to assign employees responsibilities and authority. Now assign the tasks listed in the table to someone. Naturally, you don't need to list each employee here, just the ones who have the ultimate responsibility of the given task. Also include 1 or more assistants for each task. If you don't know who the party responsible employee is, think of it like this. If the responsible person is on vacation, who will be the one covering for them? You can basically do this any way you choose, and after you're done, it should look something like this. The second table, Own Staff, is used to list your employees and record their experience and qualifications. Now list each and every employee who participates in one way or another in the order to delivery process. This includes design engineers, buyers, managers, human resource department, etc. Technically, just list everyone here. The listing should look something like this. You might wonder what qualifications you should write down on the last column. In this case, you can decide and define them for yourself. There are no written requirements. As long as the defined qualification guarantees that employees are able to do their assigned job safely, it's considered good enough. For example, the simplest qualification can be that the employee has done a certain task, let's say cutting, for 6 hours and is thus qualified to do that. Now we're done with the step personnel. You can save and close all documents and move on to the next step.